here, but specifically, a lot of our automotive vertical friends have reached out and asked about VLA. So should we kick off paid search with some VLA discussion?
Definitely, yeah.
Okay, so in our last discussion, we chatted about vehicle listing ads, VLA, and I believe at the time they were still in beta. Now that they're fully rolled out, I wanted to hear from you on what dealers, advertisers should keep in mind when launching and managing VLA campaigns.
Sure. Be a little bit less than like 50 conversions a month. That's also a time where we see it take a little bit slower to fully ramp up, fully optimize, and be like, again, considered actually activated and serving in all relevant auctions.
And okay.
Yeah, typically we've seen 2 to 3 weeks to just be like what we consider 100% fully live, fully optimized.
Great. So aside from the obvious in this time period that we're living in, less inventory means less vehicle listings to actually show. Is there anything dealers should be aware of that could impact their VLA campaigns just based on the current environment?
You mentioned like the more models you have, obviously the more opportunities to show vehicle listing ads, of course, but it's also considered how many models you have on your site. So for example, if you just have one model to show for in your used inventory and someone does a search that should trigger your ad to show, if you just have one model, you might get served a less amount of time than other advertisers who have a higher volume of those models. So volume of models, I think, matters at this point. I know, again, like you said, it's kind of a weird time from an inventory perspective, but it's not something that's a make or break in terms of you can't run this or it's not going to perform. It's more of just something to keep in mind on the ability to be able to be served in all of those relevant auctions.
Okay, so aside from inventory, what should advertisers do to increase the likelihood of their VLAs being served?
Sure. Always start with photos. It is a visual type of advertisement. Your photos have to be not only high quality, they have to be available. So if you have like a coming soon, or just a lack of photo for a particular vehicle that's listed on the site, it's not going to be served. Again, it won't be served if it's low quality, and it's also not going to be served if you have overlays across all of your photos. So first and foremost, before you're considering VLAs, is go to your site first and really analyze the quality of the images that you have. That's going to really kind of position you not only to be able to show those ads, but also to be able to serve more and compared to other competitors. The other item is, of course, your feed. So I would say, and this is again more for like the advertiser side, not necessarily something I would bog down a dealer with, but the feed should be pulling in as much relevant information as possible. And this is something that I think gets overlooked when dealers are looking to partner with advertisers for something like vehicle listing ads or really any type of inventory advertisement like dynamic ads in Facebook. is understanding the agency's feed and what they're using, and just aspects about it to ensure that you are not only serving the most relevant and up-to-date information as a vehicle sells or a new vehicle becomes available, that feed is updating, but it also has the capability to extract and pull in and populate as much information about the vehicle in the Google Merchant Center. So the more information we provide Google Merchant Center, the more Google understands what we're advertising at the VDP level, and again, increases the likelihood that your ad is actually able to be shown. So I would say, again, those are probably the top two: photos, and then just the feed. Is it fresh data? Is it populated regularly? And are we really making sure that the Google Merchant Center is able to pull as much information from that feed as possible?